QPR substitute Kieran Morgan scored a 96-minute stunner to seal a dramatic last-gasp home win over Birmingham City on Tuesday night, just 3 minutes after Patrick Roberts had seemingly cancelled out Jimmy Dunne's 40th minute opener. In truth, Birmingham leaving Loftus Road with anything at all would have been criminal given how dominant Rangers had been, but history thankfully repeated itself, with Morgan's moment of magic echoing Dunne's previous stoppage time heroics the last time the Blues visited W12 back in March 2024. Morgan's second goal of the season ensured the R's claimed a well-deserved 4th win in 5 and finished the night in the playoff places. If you're new here, hello, I'm Connor aka Hoopsa and I talk about all things QPR. If you enjoyed this match reaction, make sure you hit like and subscribe, and let's get straight into it. Julian Stéphan made just 2 changes to Saturday's winning starting 11, with Jake Clark-Salt arrested from the matchday squad and Steve Cook replacing him at centre-back. Paul Smith also took the place of Elias Chair, with the latter having picked up a minor injury against West Brom, meaning Koki Saito shifted over to the left with Smithy out on the right. The first half of this clash started off as your largely typical midweek game under the lights. Cagey, tense, and with neither team having a shot on target for the first half an hour. QPR initially struggled to find the invention needed to play the ball forwards as Birmingham pressed high, and after some fantastic saves against West Brom on Saturday, Paul Nardi did his best to shave a few years off my life nice and early with his terrifying passing from the back, complete with a slip on the ball well outside of his area for good measure. Aside from Amadou Mabenge placing Demarai Gray firmly in his pocket from the outset, a purgatory the winger wouldn't escape until our madcap right back was forced off late with cramp, this instilled an early nervousness in the Rangers' backline, but they gradually settled to limit the away side to almost nothing of note, and bit by bit, chances started to flow at the other end. Reece Norrington-Davies almost put QPR ahead on 16 minutes when Saito played him a short corner, the lone left-back curling in a gorgeous ball from the edge of the box that whistled teasingly past the left-hand post. Given how frantic QPR had looked at the back in the early exchanges, Jimmy Dunne then quietly began putting together his best performance of the season, not just as a centre-back where he's now seemingly flourishing back in his natural position, but creatively too. The QPR captain's line-breaking pass into Smith on half an hour sparked his team's best chance so far. Roman Burrell and Mabenge combined down the right before feeding Dunne again, who lofted a dangerous deep cross that Saito headed back across goal. Smith, fancying his 3rd headed goal of the season, then rose to meet it, but the time-space continuum could only take so much chaos, and James Beadle gratefully gathered. Marvin Dushk would have Birmingham's only off-target shot of the half a few minutes later, which Rangers dealt with, and on 40 minutes, in a near mirror of last Saturday's proceedings, the R's would finally take the lead late in the half. And deservedly so, it was Dunne with his 2nd goal of the season who put the Hoops ahead. Koki Saito rounding all £20 million of Jay Stansfield down the wing and whipping in the type of cross that was begging to be buried, an invitation that Jimmy happily answered by mounting Phil Newman and heading goalward to send QPR in ahead at the break. In a beautifully poetic moment, W12 alumni Bright Asseyi Samuel was hooked by Chris Davies at half-time, but it mattered very little because until around 80 minutes, Rangers were almost completely dominant in the second half, and once again limited Birmingham to just 2 shots at goal, but more on that shortly. Rangers may have left it incredibly last minute to seal this win for good, but to a man, we were the better side. I know Birmingham have been awful away from home this season, but rarely have I seen this QPR side play as consistently, as completely or as assertively as we saw for the majority of this second period, rarely letting them into our final third at all. There were plenty of chances to make this a more straightforward victory though. After an early Smith shot from range missed to the right, multiple of his long throws into the box caused havoc. The aftermath of one on 56 minutes returned to sender before he teed Norrington-Davies up for a cross that was almost goal-bound until a flailing Beadle got a hand to it. Clearly Birmingham didn't watch our highlights from Saturday though, because if they had, they may have realised that playing from the back wasn't the best idea. That high QPR press led by Burrell, Kone and Madsen returned and caused problems on multiple occasions, giving the R's their best chance of the half so far on 60 minutes when the away side were hounded out of the ball in their own box, Smith crossing low to Madsen and the Dane looping across to the back post for a free Kone, but he shot painfully wide with half the net gaping. Karamoko Dembele was Stéphan's first change for Smith on 67 minutes, a change that happened amusingly at the same time as both Jack Robinson leaving the pitch and Lyndon Dykes entering it, perhaps the most comforting substitution an opposition team could make, and Kwame Poku followed on 79 minutes for Koki Saito. The French head coach's final change of Kieran Morgan for the cramping Amadou Mbengue on 86 minutes, however, would prove to be the most decisive in more ways than one. Mbengue had probably his best performance in an R shirt up to this point, at least at right back, and as I said at the start, almost completely pocketed Demarai Gray. That meant though that his departure gave Gray just that extra bit of space to operate in down the left wing at a stage of the game when we really could have done without it. First he won a free kick and then a corner, the in-swinging delivery of which Nadi somehow quite literally parried off of his line. The moment of real despair though came on 93 minutes when Peck chipped the ball into the box to find Gray, the Birmingham number 10 squaring a dangerous low ball across the area to a completely unmarked Patrick Roberts to stab home at the back post with ease. There's nothing in football more painful than letting in a late goal, especially when it had been such a one-sided display. It's even worse when the ball had gone out of play during its build-up to the complete disinterest of the linesman, and when it comes in the midst of 6 minutes of added time that the referee pulled from absolutely nowhere, grievances which I can happily air having won the game. But thank God that referee did add on those 6 minutes, because it would go on to give me the biggest high I've felt since the last time we scored a last gasp worldie against Birmingham. The beauty of this QPR side is that when push comes to shove, they know they can score goals this season. So their heads didn't drop, they got straight up the other end, and against all odds set about putting things right again. But when Kone's header was blocked on 95 minutes, I just didn't think it could happen, nor did I when Dembele won a free kick straight after. And when Poku charged into the box and was shouldered off the ball, and Varane charged in to collect it and recycle it to a free Morgan on the edge of the box, I still didn't think it could happen. But 2 touches and an absolute pile driver across goal and into the back of the net later, Loftus Road had absolutely erupted. Morgan had his shirt off, and the rest was a complete blur. I mean, what a goal, what a complete rush, and what a way to reclaim an absolutely deserved win. I can think of very few players who deserve that more than Kieran. He's waited so patiently to be called on all season, and like done before him, he's just written himself into Rangers folklore. These are the kind of moments why you keep going to football, why you spend so much time and money following your team, and why you support a club like Queen's Park Rangers. They don't come along often, so when they do, you get scenes like that. As you can probably tell, I'm still absolutely buzzing. Not just for Morgan, not just because of that goal, not just because of the win, but because that was an almost complete performance. That's 4 wins from 5 now, into the top 6 for the time being, and so much more to like than to dislike right now. Find a way to keep putting together displays like that, and who knows where this season will take us. Right, anyway, that is all from me. What did you think about this win? I imagine you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below. If you're new to the channel and you've enjoyed this match reaction, you'd like to see more QPR content from me, make sure you hit like and subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you next time for my Borough match preview. Cheers!